What a time it is to be alive. We have more opportunities than any generation before us. You can learn anything, build anything, become anyone. But why do so many of us feel like we're behind then? Like no matter what you do, it's never quite enough. The reason for that is quite simple, really. The fear that we have today is starkly different to the fear people had before us. They used to fear losing what they had, whereas we now fear not becoming who we could be. And that changes everything. How, you might ask? Well, for the longest time, life was simpler. Not easier, but simpler. Because success had shape. If you had a stable job, a roof over your head, food on the table, and could provide for your family, you were doing well. That was the aim, that was the goal. That was their stability anchor. It gave life direction, not infinite direction, just enough to where they didn't have to constantly second-guess themselves every step of the way. And it worked because the world was different. Fewer options, less visibility, less global competition. They weren't trying to become something, they were trying to hold onto what they had. But now that anchor has shifted. We're no longer just chasing stability, we're chasing potential. We want freedom, impact, legacy. And none of that is wrong. Curiosity isn't the problem, ambition isn't the problem, wanting more from life isn't the problem. But what's changed is the scale. Because now, you don't want just a good life, you want the best possible version of it for yourself. And not in one area, but in all of them. You want to be successful, creative, fit, disciplined, financially aware, emotionally intelligent, socially connected, constantly growing. And over time, that stops feeling like possibility. It starts to nag at you like an annoying responsibility. We've entered a sort of possibility overload era, where because everything is visible, we feel everything should be achieved. And then, without really realizing it, you step into something else, the comparison grid. Because now you don't see just your own life, you see everyone else's too. It's very subtle, it doesn't feel like comparison at first. But you pick up your phone and within minutes you've seen someone more successful than you, someone fitter than you, someone farther ahead in life than you, someone building something that you haven't even started. And it shifts your perspective. It's not that you're doing badly, it's just you're constantly reminded of how much more there is. We used to fear losing what we had, now we fear not becoming who we could be. But the problem with that is there is no clear endpoint. There's always another version of you, a better one, a sharper one, a more successful one. So even when you're moving forward, it rarely feels like you're doing enough. And this is where things start to feel heavy, because instead of choosing one direction and following it, you try to move in so many directions all at the same time. You try to become the disciplined one, the creative one, the fit one, the financially aware one, the emotionally intelligent one, all at the same time, all within the same lifetime. And none of these are bad goals, that's exactly what makes it so tricky. But the result is you fall into this sort of identity fragmentation loop, where your attention is split across too many versions of yourself, and no matter what direction you try to pick, it constantly feels like something else is lagging behind. To really understand this, it helps to look at this a bit more closely. Take someone a few decades ago. They get a stable job, build a house, provide for their family, and over time that turns into a good life. But now, look at our situation, look at your situation. You get a job, but that's just the beginning. It's not too long before you start asking questions like, should I be earning more? Should I start something on the side? Am I growing fast enough? Am I wasting my potential? And at the same time, you're watching others on the internet do more faster. So even if you're doing objectively well, it doesn't feel like it. Because the standard didn't just rise, it multiplied. There's more competition now, there's more access, there's more visibility, more global competition. So the old definition of success didn't disappear, it just became a lot harder to reach and a lot harder to feel. So what do you do with that? Because the answer to that isn't to shut down your ambition, nor is it to pretend that this pressure doesn't exist. Because the truth is, you're living in a more competitive world, a more demanding one. So yes, you do have to grow, you do have to improve, you do have to build something over time. But here's a shift that changes everything. You don't need to become everything at once. You need to take control of what you're becoming right now. Because the moment you try to chase every possible version of yourself, you lose direction. But the moment you choose a direction, even if it's imperfect, you regain control. Progress was never meant to be simultaneous. It was meant to be intentional, focused, built over time. And if you really look at it, you're not behind, you're just scattered, pulled in too many directions all at the same time. So no, you're not behind. You're living in a world that constantly shows you more and expects you to keep up with it. The pressure is real, but it does not get to decide your life. You do. So instead of asking, am I becoming everything I could be? Ask something better. What am I building right now? And am I giving it enough time to matter? Because your life isn't a race against someone else or against the entire internet. It's something you build one step at a time, deliberately, patiently, one direction at a time. So no, you're not behind, you're just overloaded. And once you realize that, you stop chasing everything and start becoming something.